Hi there, I'm Kylie Mowbray-Allen from Hello Media.
And I'm Jenni Walke from Elephant in the Room Consulting, and you're tuning into Bite-Sized Business Live Podcast, the show that helps business owners get clarity and insight to grow their dream business.
Whether you're launching, ready to scale, or figuring out what's next, we discuss the nitty-gritty, the hard bits, the opportunities, and the behind the scenes, and share how we've grown our own companies and helped others do the same.
We're glad you're here.
Hi there, I'm Kylie Mowbray-Allen from Hello Media, and you're tuning into the Bite-Sized Business Live podcast, the show that helps small business owners get clarity and insight to grow their dream business. Today, I've invited Ash Griffin, the happy therapist, and Ash is an expert on the topic of purpose, because if you don't have purpose, there's no fulfillment in life or in business. So thanks for joining us, Ash.
Thanks for having me. It's always good to be here.
It's a treat to chat with you. I always love our chats, Ash. So big topic today, purpose. It's something that you and I have often talked about in our private lives whenever we've had a catch up, because you and I both have a very strong drive for volunteering work. But let's just do a little quick brief outline of the three topics we're going to talk about today. So values, core needs, and beliefs. So let me ask you then, Ash, what do you think is that around that first piece of values?
Values is what we are driven by. So we're driven by our values as well as our needs, okay? And our needs tend to or do trump your values. And so it's really important to stay in line with your values and honor what your truth is in your life, but also in your business, so that you welcome a new energy to be able to grow and evolve and connect, because you're in line with what you value so much. So they may be values around environment or spiritual, or money might drive people, and people value that. But you're always making sure that you're ticking off what you do value, and that what you're doing is helping those values grow and evolve, and that you're not actually valuing something else instead. So when people say I don't have enough time, but they value or want to value their business, then obviously that's misaligned, because they're just saying I don't have enough time, which goes into a belief that they can't do something. Whereas if they realigned their values, they would find the time because it's important to them.
Yes, right. So what about people that don't even really know what their values are? Let's just say in business, started a business. One of the things that Jenni likes to always say is being that accidental business owner. So you had an idea or a hobby, and then suddenly it's just become a business. But then you haven't actually sat down and worked out, what is it that I value most? And in fact, I wrote an email that I sent out to my database yesterday that was all about my non-negotiables. So I think it's a very, very similar thing, isn't it? It's working out what are those non-negotiables. And for me, that actually blurred a little the last couple of months. And they didn't become so much non-negotiable, but a little bit more negotiable. But that's because it was all around doing some upskilling and training. Yep. So I was working weekends and doing all these extra hours, but that was okay for that period of time, because my future self was going to thank me for it. However, my non-negotiable generally is not working weekends, because I value having that time off and also time with family and friends. So for those that are either starting out in business or really hadn't ever thought about the values or their non-negotiables, etc., what would you suggest for how people can actually deep dive into it and figure it out?
So it works both, again, just in your life or in your business. And I would write down in your life, what emotions do you value the most? So what are the top 5 emotions you want to feel regularly on a daily basis? And then you work out what is stopping you feeling that, because often we'll feel we allow access into more negative emotions, so that we respond in fear and then stay stuck. So we want to dissect the blocks and work out how you can access empowering emotions that you want to feel and want to value or do value. Okay, and that would be the same in business. What do you want to see in your business? And so some people get to a point in business and they no longer want to grow. They're happy where they are, okay, because it might be too overwhelming for them. So they won't have growth as a value anymore. So it'll be replaced with something else. Whereas someone else will be like, I want to grow, I want fulfillment, I want connection with my staff, and whatever else comes up for them.
Oh, I love it. So that's a really interesting one. Whether you do want to grow your business or you don't want to grow your business and you're still wanting to stay where you are, you've still actually got to figure out exactly what that means to you and what that feeling is, right?
Yeah, for sure. So, and that would come in, it would leak into the needs then, like what needs you have for your business and your needs personally to grow and evolve as a person and in business.
So let's talk about those core needs then in terms of purpose and the power of purpose. So talk me through the terminology of core needs and what it means to you.
Okay, so the psychology of 6 core needs is that every human, so we've just talked about values. Our values will differ on an individual level. Our needs don't. Every single human has a need for certainty and security or safety. That's our tribal survival mechanism. We have then variety. We all need variety as well, and surprise and elements of uncertainty. We have a need for significance in what makes you unique and special and outstanding. And that can be negative or positive. We get these needs through many different vehicles, and you just need to choose or understand what vehicle is more productive for you and more efficient and more fulfilling. So after significance is love and connection. And they're the 4 needs of the personality. And then the needs of the spirit is growth and contribution. Okay, so growth is learning and evolving, and contribution is giving, volunteering, thinking greater good rather than just what you can contribute to yourself.
And given that both you and I both have a very strong core need for contribution.
Yes.
So talk me through that for you and how you first recognized that was an important part of your purpose.
I think that if I look back, my purpose was to get myself out of an extremely dark place where I was in every area of my life. And in doing that, I thought I'm going to get myself, and I was bald, fat and red, okay, covered in eczema, covered in self-doubt, didn't have a mirror in my house for 3 years. So there were serious issues going on where I didn't love myself.
I'm so sorry that I just did a minor chuckle then. But it was just the way that you said bald, fat and red. Sorry.
I look like Quasimodo. I'll try and find a photo. So I was 30 kilos over. I had no hair because eczema had taken all my hair and then it covered my skin. So I was red, blistery, bald and massive.
What a hard time for you.
I know, but it was actually a blessing now because I've turned my mess into my message.
Nice.
And my message is my purpose, which is helping others overcome personal issues and problems and blockages so that I know that they can overcome. And once they are coached and done some therapy around, what is holding them back, it ends up, and I know we're going to talk about this too, but it literally is a belief you have about yourself. Okay, and the belief that you have about yourself infiltrates into the belief you have for your business and so forth. So if we go back to where my purpose came, yes, it came from pain, and I wanted to manage myself, and I was so tired of feeling the way that I was feeling, that I went and got healthy, and I immersed myself in studying health and fitness, etc., which led into psychology and coaching and whatnot. So along the way, my purpose has been, oh my goodness, if I can do this, anyone can do this, and I want to be able to help and give my love to them so that they can actually feel love for themselves. And then again, it contributes to everyone, because as soon as someone else is feeling good about themselves, then someone else notices. And also how you treat people and your patience levels and your whole perspective changes, because your energy's changed and your focus is changing.
Absolutely. So how do you then balance your need to earn money, because that's how the world goes around, and your need to do voluntary work? How do you, because your business can incorporate both, as does mine. So how do you balance that out?
I really felt the pressure of that last year in self-preservation and saying no. And I really recognized I was a people pleaser as well, which was something else that I had to overcome, because it was a belief in me that I had to please people to be good enough or to feel like I belonged. So there's a lot inside of us. As simple as it sounds, the complexity inside, is thriving on other beliefs, and it kind of manifests into something that, we figure is out of control, but we can dissect it and make it a lot simpler. So that's what I did. I decided I'm going to give what I can. And then when I felt depleted, or where there wasn't enough income coming in or whatever, I've started going, you know what, I have an intention to help that person or that area in some capacity, but I need to love me first and go back to me loving, healing energy, have the resources in order to give back properly, rather than kind of do it half-assed.
I love it. For at least 3 years in a row, my New Year's resolution would be, this year I'm going to devote more hours to earning money, so that it overrides how many hours I'm doing voluntarily. And year after year, I just was not doing that. And it was definitely something around guilt for charging for my services when I could so easily give them.
Yeah. So just I think that there's times in our world, some people who plan really, really well can probably do it. Like, I'm going to do so much for me, and then that week is contribution week. Or some people might want to contribute a small amount each day. So it really depends on what works for you. But I definitely notice if my energy levels are dropping, or even if you start resenting giving or doing, I feel like if you've even got to that point, you've done way too much and you need to pull back. It doesn't change your heart. You literally just like filling up the tank again so that you can go out and give some more.
I love it. And do you know what? A few weeks ago, I sent an email and formally resigned from one of my voluntary positions for all those reasons you've just said. It was not fulfilling me anymore. I felt more frustration, all kinds of things around it. And I felt like I wasn't able to give to it any longer. So I resigned after maybe 13 years, which felt really good. And I was so proud of myself. And what it did was freed up time to focus on other volunteering positions, but where I was, better using my time or better giving of my time.
Yeah.
So that felt super amazing. So I think it's so important that power of purpose, if that for you is all about giving, that you actually can audit that every now and then and take a little look at, where are you giving, and does it need to be mixed up a little bit, or mix it up a little bit. Now, Ash, what about our third subtopic, around beliefs?
So, as I mentioned with the contribution and also understanding or looking at what my needs were, whether it was I needed to people please or I needed to not feel guilt, like you said, which is a big one for me too, you know, because then you start rationalizing, oh, I'll just do it this time, you know. So the beliefs are really, look, we've got just like our 6 core needs, every human has those needs and they're filled in every behavior. Okay, so unconsciously, we just do them unconsciously. And it's the same with our beliefs. We're unconscious in fearing we're not good enough in some capacity, we're not lovable, or we don't belong. Okay, and if we fear in business especially, well, not especially, but if we're talking about purpose and business, you may feel, you might compare yourself to too many on social media, and the belief is, I cannot compare with that, I'm not good enough. Yet your audience might be slightly different, so you can target different people and reach them and help them and allow them to grow as you grow, kind of thing. So that's one fear or a belief, that you're not good enough. The other is you won't be loved, and that stems from not being good enough, and also that you don't belong. So, and that brings in the imposter syndrome, you know, that a lot of entrepreneurs have. So it's targeting or acknowledging those beliefs that we all have them. And when you can understand that even some of my clients, you know, have these amazing businesses and are just powerhouse women. And when I say, what do you feel? They will feel stupid and they want more confidence. And you would just never, ever, ever pick that someone, you know, whether it be their status or just how they present themselves, that they're actually feeling that inside. So it's important to acknowledge and just be vulnerable in, okay, this is how I'm feeling, but how can I overcome that? Because I know it's not true. It's only a belief. And beliefs are formed because it's the same thought over and over and over again. And when you're not sharing that thought with other people who can tell you, oppose it, then the thoughts over and over again, if you think it enough times, it becomes a belief, which then your subconscious mind takes on as true.
So the power of your mind is intense. So the power of purpose, if we haven't figured that out for or not just our life, but for our business and the way that we want to conduct business, the way we want to move towards our goals, the way we want to help and work with others, the way we want to attract clients to us, if we're not sharing that purpose that we have, we're not really even then attracting the right kind of clients and customers, are we?
No. Yeah, so it's really important to understand what your heart is, what your message is, who you want to help, how you can help. But the big one is why. What's your why? Okay, so, and the how and everything else will follow when you've got a strong enough why. And my why was, I want to help people love themselves. I want to help people overcome what I've felt in my past. So my why was so much bigger. And then the how just was like, it kind of happened organically.
I love that. The why being for you, I want to help people love themselves. So I think that's magic. And then figuring out the how from there. It's really clear.
Your beliefs also, it's important that when you acknowledge that you've believed something, like I'm not good enough or I'm not techie enough, you know, which is me all the time. I'm restricting myself to believe that. So then I can't move beyond it. But what if I could and I opened those doors? So often it's the walls that we've built up in our mind to protect us in terms of, I don't need to do that, or I shouldn't have to do that, or I can't do that, are often the walls that imprison us.
Ash, I just think that we need to have another session together. So let's book one in. And because I think that we need to share a lot about language and the power of language, because you talking about the techie thing for me years ago now, luckily I was able to change it, but I used to always say, oh, I can't afford that, whether it was a course for business growth or something for myself personally or my family or whatever. But actually the reality is that was just creating such a chronic problem for me by saying that. I just needed to turn that around completely. Like, why say I can't afford that? Really, I can. I just choose to spend my money in a different way.
And that comes back to your values.
There you go. There you go. So the language. Let's schedule another time. Hopefully Jenni can be with us for that one, because I know that she really, really loves that mindset and how we talk about business and life, of course, as well. So Ash, how can people get in touch with you? Obviously we'll tag you in the caption there, but tell us a little bit about how people can connect with you.
So there's Facebook, the Happy Therapist Australia. You know more than me, Kylie.
Yes, the Happy Therapist Australia.
And on Insta and thehappytherapist.com.au. So, and you can feel free to message me if you can see the message link in here. So
awesome. Thanks so much. And thank you everyone for tuning into this episode of Bite Size Business, a live podcast. Be sure to subscribe and follow us so you don't miss any future episodes. And thanks again, Ash. So glad that you're able to join me. And see you next time, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.